to DevKami, number 47, and I am Chi Leung.
I am Tristan.
I'm swimming.
Yeah, in
I'm
case you're
busy
wondering why
yesterday.
we started late, and we started with laughing because we are too busy getting the cheap Azure Sphere kit. Yeah, I just got mine. So, yep. So
Do you want to put the link?
I think so.
I do not know how do I register for free kit. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Let me share it.
Yeah. So while people are going through,
howdy, Justin.
So this link, just go sign up for an account at limit 14. And follow the instructions. Get your voucher code. A 340 ringgit microcontroller can be yours for the low price of 3 ringgit.
Yeah, we didn't receive any money from them.
Yeah, it's just like there's supposed to be 20,000. There's like 3,000 left of this Azure Sphere OS. So while you're registering there, make sure you click like on the live, because apparently YouTube algorithms say that if you click like right at the beginning of the video, then it's a good video for some reason. So I will click like as well. Yay!
Yeah, I'm gonna click like as well.
Make sure you click
why
like.
Why not?
Yes, why not?
Why not?
Okay, so what happened last week? And what's happening next week?
Next week.
Oh, let's talk about this week. Let's taste Saturday and Sunday. There will be PyCon.
Yes.
Get your tickets. I think the ticket is gonna be closed today.
Today or tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow you're not selling
tomorrow.
Anything.
Today.
Technically tomorrow, like the first second. So and on Tuesday we're gonna have the Golden Meetup, Junior Dev as well. So on Wednesday, why does everyone pack all the events?
Because the last week of August, right?
I think people forgot about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Junior Dev, Golden Meetup. Then on Wednesday they're gonna be KLJS. And the iMini, how geeks screw up startups. So it's some social event, I guess. And on Thursday they're gonna be Google Cloud August Meetup, KL Elixir Meetup, and that's what it. And
KL also Elixir is on Fave, right? That's Fave.
Yep.
They haven't had.
No, it's actually the next one is gonna be at Surya Lab.
Oh, Surya Labs, interesting.
Yeah.
What's the event?
Elixir Meetup.
Oh yeah, interesting.
You know, the evil twins of and the evil but popular twins of Ruby nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a shout out, even though it's gonna be next week, it's Women Could Connect Asia, which is gonna happen in Singapore. So yep, check it out.
You can get the ticket.
You can still get the ticket. Yep. Let me share the link.
Is everyone from the Women Who Code KL flying over to?
Yeah, most of them will be there.
Possible.
And I guess it's gonna be recorded by the engineers.sg crew, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
More links. Is it showing up on the video? It's not showing up.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna click it. So this is Women Who Could Connect Asia. So apparently there's still quite a lot of seats, so grab them, support anything that's going around locally. So wait, I'm gonna share the link. So let's talk about Buzz Corner. I think some of the Buzz Corner are related to the topic for today as well.
So we had a security issue like every few months. Every month. So this time, who is it this time? Last week we have Capital One. This time we have So this time we had the most recent one that I know of is actually KLIA. The IT system are down, so everybody had to go through a manual system.
What was that?
Is
A
that
security issue?
I don't think that's a security breach.
I think they just cut the cable, right?
Yeah.
They
Is
cut
that
the
supposed to-
internet
is-
cable or something.
A big organization in Malaysia had very bad IT policy as a result. It can be something very stupid.
Mm.
What other security issues do we have?
I think it was the Astra one, the one that Han had shared.
Astro One are the one. Astro One the other one that got leaked. Yes.
Yeah, there's Capital One and there's the Astra one.
Yeah. So Astro One is a leak, but I'm not sure whether it's a. I mean, it's a security leak technically, but I'm not sure it's a hack. It's more like people have access and sell it or whatever.
Yeah, apparently
But Malaysian
they
organi-
said they detected an unauthorized access. So it wasn't like one of the like Elasticsearch servers accidentally gone and without a
Oh.
password. So it's not like negligence. It's more like a proper attack that they detected, or at least that's how they're saying the story is. So they say that it's not all of the customers, like only like 0.2% or something, and that they're notifying everyone. So we'll see what happens. But I guess that is part of their disclosure policies, right?
That happens, but you see, I'm sorry to say, but Malaysian companies have a very bad track record. Last time, when website got hacked, they literally just got hacked and that's about it. And often the whole thing is because they had a custom system, which is very badly protected. Like the DNS, who's the Malaysian DNS provider again?
I don't know.
Uh,
Is there a Malaysian DNS provider?
Mynic.
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 Okay.
Mynic got hacked because of badly designed application.
Yonic.
Mhm.
And they
Yonic
still
got
got
hacked. Yonic.
Yeah.
Definitely not mine.
So yeah. So any other thing that happened for the last week?
I don't think so.
So the last one that I want to talk about is Bitbucket finally retires Mercurial.
Mercurial. Yeah.
Yep. Bye. Thanks for the fish.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're not supposed to
Mercurial is
eat
still
them.
alive. It just no support in Bitbucket anymore.
Facebook is still using them.
I
Definitely
believe.
wrote a new call for Mercurial in C
Mhm.
for performance.
Mhm.
Let's see what else we have on the news. So there's actually a lot of stuff, small conversation going on in the channels. If you
GitHub
consider,
support webend.
yeah, GitHub Actions.
Then GitHub
GitHub.
support web authentication security keys.
Yep, that's a good one. At least
Yep.
because previously they were implementing this draft design from Google or from YubiKey
Yeah.
to support the devices, and now they implement the proper web authentication. I don't know how you pronounce that, web authenticator standards. So yay. So I hope
Yay.
more should actually implement it.
Yeah.
It's a good one. So I think that's about it for Bus Corner.
Mhm.
So let's proceed to the next one, our topic, security. So what are we supposed to talk about security? Mainly,
I don't know. It's your idea.
it's actually the Tristan idea to talk about like the
Well, actually,
kind of
it's
best practices we have.
Yeah, it's
So,
Swimming's idea actually.
Okay,
So
let's
Like since when?
because I heard that you
Since
had
when?
a note. You had
So
a Note 10, right?
who should I put?
So I'll
Tristan
do
Corner.
the intro. I'll do the intro here. So because
Alright.
I heard that
Yeah.
Swimming just got a new Note 10 Plus,
Yeah.
and him being this like security conscious individual to make sure that his accounts are all protected, he does two-factor authentication. And we know two-factor authentication can be an application on your phone. So what do you do when you have to change phones? What are your best practices on this?
Okay, so One, I do first disclaimer. I'm very bad when it comes to security. Sometimes I actually forget to change password. That being said, so let's say you had multiple password. You follow the best practice. You do not share password among application. You use two-factor authentication.
Let's go a bit higher level, a bit of closer to the bite shape conversation. What application do you use, or what do you use? Normally.
I'm going there.
All right.
Right. So what I use is, which is not it used to be good, but it's not the industry standard anymore. I use LastPass.
Why
I use LastPass because yes.
Why isn't it good anymore?
No, there is a few security incidents from LastPass. They fixed that. They fixed it since then, but the reputation is there. But for me, LastPass is awesome because it's one of those that I know for sure support Linux and all that because it runs on browser. So it works. Most people would move to 1Password. I think 1Password not support Linux, but I'm so lazy. But use a password manager. We have a few good ones. Nowadays, you have multiple good ones on the market. Pick one, subscribe to it. Please pay them. LastPass is like few US dollar a year. It's very cheap.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very cheap. And what they do is they help you store your password. They help you remember your security note. Let's say you need to remember your credit card information.
I used to manage my own. I used to use KeyPass, and I manage it on my own. And I store it on my Google Drive. Even though it's stored on the Google Drive, it's still very painful to manage.
It's very painful. Correct. So what KeyPass provide as a value is, one, it provide encrypted area for you to store your stuff online. Number two, you have a plugin to use on your browser. It makes your life easy. And three, it helps you fill in the form whenever possible. It works for most website. Banking website is another story altogether. And here's the last one that I really like. LastPass actually have their own two-factor authentication code. So it implement what Google Authenticator use, and it actually back up online. And this is actually
I didn't know that.
So during lunch hour, after I got my phone, it didn't take me long for me to actually switch my account over.
Okay.
Disclaimer: LastPass didn't pay me for this.
Do you pay for a LastPass subscription?
Yes, of course.
I don't.
It's so bad that
I don't see it.
I pay for it, but here's what they do, right?
I should pay for mine.
Everything is most password managers store stuff on the cloud nowadays, right? Encrypted and all that. When you switch your phone, as long as you remember your your master password, once you download the app on your phones, it's available in major platforms nowadays, and you can and you just switch pretty easily without worrying about losing a password. But unfortunately, it's like the minimum thing that you should do nowadays.
Yeah,
there's a minimum thing.
I think people should use password manager. It's not exactly putting all your eggs in a basket. It's just that.
Correct.
Of course, don't be silly and let everybody knows that which account you're using, but
correct.
Secure your own password. Secure your encryption key, and with that you can actually rotate your password easily without having to
Correct.
Because we tend to reuse our password, and we hate rotating our password. But using a password manager allows us to rotate it easily.
So the counter argument here is, if password can be cracked easily nowadays, even though random, why bother? Well, the answer is don't make it any easier than they always is.
The point is don't make it easy.
But even that, password manager provide you again password changing, rotation changing. So if you know your secret, let's say you go to have I been hacked? Have I been pawned or hacked?
Have you been owned? Yeah.
Huh?
Have you been owned? Yeah.
Have I been
Owned.
owned?
Yeah. I
So
pronounce it as
realize
owned.
that
How do you
your account got
pronounce
hacked,
pwned actually?
I don't know, got owned. Another
By
security
shake
guy.
time. How do you pronounce this?
No, because it's you don't actually pronounce it. It started off when you're typing too fast and you wanted to say owned, and you mistype P because it's just beside each other.
Because certain people they pronounce it as like the usual, like me, I pronounce it own, but some they pronounce it as pung.
Yeah.
I just call it own.
Yeah, I just call it own. I'm old school.
So when you know you have your compromise, you can easily change password.
Yeah.
And that's the value it gives you in this modern day. So you can change it easily.
And nowadays most of them they collab with haven't been owned. So you get notifications for the accounts, the related accounts. However, I don't use LastPass. I use something that is I used to homebrew. Is then till that is too painful to manage it, and I actually forgot my master key one time and had to reset all my passwords. Happened, so be careful if it's too secure as well. I'm on a Bitwarden nowadays, so it's actually it's free. It's you can host your own as well.
It's open source.
It's open source and it's audited. It's open source but written in C#. And it's cross-platform, and it's audited.
So it used to be KeePass is the golden standard for.
The main thing is the main thing that appealed to me is it's open source and I can host a server if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So the problem with KeePass is like the database file syncing. Like I used to put it on Dropbox and then I changed it because I added a new password on a different machine. Now you have 2 copies of the database on Dropbox. It's even worse when you have a team sharing that Dropbox link because someone might probably like delete the database and then now you don't have a KeePass database. So that's a problem.
Yes. And there's this time where people realize that nobody actually audit KeePass. There's this time where people realize that nobody actually audit KeePass. So it gave them a big scare, then they finally audit it. So now your modern KeePass should be fixed.
Yeah, should be fine.
Yeah, it used to be that this one time that people realized that crap, nobody actually audit KeePass for something that is so security, so important in security, right? These are old deals. I think it's all those old stories.
So I have a question for Sui Meng. Do you use the same email address for everything that you sign up for?
I do.
Unfortunately, yes. But do not do what I do. Do not do what I do, but I do.
Yeah. What should be the correct way of doing things?
You know that.
I think it's fine to use the same email address. It's just as long as you try to enable 2-factor logins.
Well, but what about those sites that don't enable 2-factor? Like for example, let's see.
Shady.
So I'm actually now subscribed
Shady
to
Forum.
No, I'm subscribed to Have I Been Pwned and to the Firefox Monitor, which like sends me notifications when the email that I registered is part of a breach. And you'll see here. Let's see. Apparently, verifications.io, which is used by other websites for verifying data on signups, which was due to the data being stored in a MongoDB instance left publicly facing without a password. So you can't do 2-factor authentication on that because you do 2-factor on, let's say, this forum, which used verifications.io to verify your authenticity, and they actually got hacked. So you can't really do. So what do you do for sites like that?
So here's the problem, right? Email is username, it's your name. So it's not easy to change username, right?
Well, the assumption there is that it's a 1:1. Like you have one email because you're one person, I guess.
Yeah. I don't have a good practice, but your Gmail had the ability to add aliases. Every Gmail account have that. It's like something
Yeah.
something plus whatever. So you can use aliases, but it's not the most secure thing around. It just make it a little bit harder, right?
They,
Uh,
they cannot just do it naively, but you still can easily go through the whole list and strip it off.
Correct. Then, or you use a security conscious email account. For example, Proton Mail that
Yeah.
allows you to generate Proton Mail. It's only secure locally, but not on the site. But you're allowed to have multiple email account if you pay subscribe to it. So one user account can have multiple email. So maybe you use that if you're really concerned about that.
Because
Otherwise, you
I
can multiple email.
yeah,
That's not the
so
main
the my problem was apparently, so I was one of the first few users of Gmail. I got it as like their, like you have to be invited to Gmail when it
Yeah.
first started, right?
one.
And like you
Yeah.
had like 25 invites
I
and you
don't
have like to
understand
choose.
the
Sorry?
point. I want to interrupt because I don't understand was I got in during the private beta.
Yeah?
I don't understand why I pick a silly username.
I don't know. Why did you pick
Yeah,
Which is
you
like
had
confused.
the
because we
prime
didn't grow up.
real estate. So I had my name, right?
I
With the
wish I have
dot in.
gmail.com, gmail
Yeah.
at gmail.com.
Yeah, so I got like really good, like because I should have invited myself to add more things, like more Gmail accounts, and reserve them, because who would have known they would be as valuable as .com domains now. But so I got the name, and the problem is I think recently, like a few years ago, I've started getting like multiple password resets of my email address. I think just a
Mhm.
couple of weeks ago, someone from France used my email address to register for some bank, and I'm getting all of the bank
Mhm.
correspondence to my email now. So, like, because it's a name, I
Yeah.
guess they thought they had the Gmail address.
I,
And so,
I'm, I'm, I'm guilty of that because from time to time I thought that I, I, I actually thought that I own Chileon at gmail.com and I tried to reset the password.
yeah, so I've been getting lots of like reset passwords, not just on Gmail, but also on other services like the Microsoft
Mhm.
Live.com, like all the other forums as well. For some reason, they thought that
Mhm.
they owned the email address. And so what I've done now, like going forward, since I got annoyed by that, I I signed up for this. It's by Mailchimp, but it's not by Mailchimp. I forgot which one is it. So it's a mail API. I forgot the. I'll get the service later. But what happens is I set up an MX, which is a global forwarding system, and so anything at the domain that I set it up goes to my Gmail account. And so I know, so I for every service going forward now, or every newsletter, or even like for example um, the events that are happening in PTX or in any of our meetups, I have a specific email address for that, because for those that I don't think that I will be uh, reusing over and over, then I sign up with a throwaway email account. So I hopefully that, like what Swimming was saying, it is quite difficult to change your username. But going forward for all of these things, then it's going to be a lot more difficult for anyone to stumble upon my email address, try to reset it without me knowing,
Mhm.
and or at least if that doesn't happen, at least whenever someone spams me, I know from which event or from whom that spam is coming from, because that
Yeah.
that particular event or that particular name will be part of the email address. So that's how I try to do that, because it can be a bit annoying, like having all of these unwanted email.
Yeah,
Like
I'm guilty.
it feels like I'm
Guilty
getting
of
like,
it.
oh, should I mention something here? But I don't even know the original person's email address, and it's up from a no reply email. That's, they say, unwanted. I can't do anything about it anyway. So yeah, what is that again?
So, what are we supposed to talk about after key password manager? I think I think let's go to like the easy best practices for normal user. Like try to use a password manager if possible, and also
Subscribe to Firefox Monitor, or have I been
subscribe to
pwned?
that. Yeah,
No, do you have
and
the links? Let's see. Have I?
I actually shared have I been owned.
Mhm.
That's oh,
And the Firefox Monitor as well.
Firefox monitor, and
It's
also
really
as a
yeah, it's really
if
useful because you
yeah
would know that your email address was actually involved
yeah
in a hack.
it's actually shared. I think it's actually powered by have I been owned as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. The Firefox is just fund them. So there's that. So yeah. So another thing that you can do to secure system, update your bloody computer.
Update your computer. Use two-factor
Yes.
authentication if possible.
Oh, that is also the easiest thing to do. I'm not asking you to buy a UB key, but I suggest that you
What do
should
you
get a
use
UB.
for like let's say the mobile app? What do you use? Do you use Google
Uh, I use
Authenticator?
I use the LastPass authenticator.
Okay.
The reason is because it's actually backup to the LastPass account. So when I switch machine, it's actually very convenient, and it's supposed to work. It's actually supposed to work on the browser, but I never tried that before because it's actually shared. You see. So previously, we actually had I actually had a problem where I lost all my two-factor authentication
Yeah.
because
Because apparently, yeah, I'll let you finish it.
Google Authenticator do not automatically back up your code. Or it's either that they don't do that or they don't do it automatically anymore. I don't know why. Because I remember I used to be able to do that. So Google Authenticator. So when I lost my phone last time, for the first time like late last year, uh, yeah, actually early, yeah, close enough. A few months back, uh, I need to reset all my two-factor authentication and all that. I have to set up my phone and all that. It's very annoying. So, and realizing that Google doesn't update it made me so angry. So yeah, that actually happened. So I use that one nowadays. But if you don't want to subscribe to LastPass, you use for two-factor authenticator. Always print your backup code. Always print a backup code.
But not all of the one-time password stuff has the
Backup
printout
code,
stuff,
right?
right? The backup code. Backup code.
Yeah. Don't have to print. You can save it somewhere that you can retrieve it. That's the point. When you have backup code, use it. That's the cheapest thing you can do actually. Then if you're a bit rich, get a UBK. It's really pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually use
And
Auth.
yeah,
Yeah, Auth is I think owned
Auth is
by
cool.
Trilio nowadays.
Uh-huh.
Twilio is the one that allows you to do those telephony API like SMS or
Yeah.
call, and it's actually persistent. So if you lose your phone, but as long as you enable login for multiple devices, you can reset your login. But
Mhm.
provided that you have the access to the same phone number. So if you lose your phone
Yes.
number, yeah, be careful about that because like it actually happened to my Flickr account because at one time I wasn't using my Yahoo Mail anymore, and at one time there were a lot of like breaches and stuff, and there's a lot of attempts to try to log into the Yahoo account. So I deleted the email account, and I forgot that Flickr is actually linked to the Yahoo account. And yeah, I lost access to my Flickr account for good. That's the story.
Yeah. So I found the service. It's called Mailgun. That's owned by Mailchimp. It's like SendGrid, where it is programmatic or like SNS. It's an API for programmatic email sending without using SMTP. Well, you are using SMTP, but you're not using Postfix, for example, or send. I forgot. What was that Unix program that manages emails?
Sendmail.
Sendmail, yeah, Sendmail, or I
Postfix.
prefer Postfix because it has better defaults. So
Yeah.
instead of like sending mail to a Sendmail or Postfix program, you're using REST API, and it's a lot more like the IPs are warmed up. You're not going to get bounced. So that's what I use as my MX mailbox. It just like forwards things. For me, for the authenticator, because I don't pay for LastPass, I'm still a free user. So maybe that's the reason why I don't get an authenticator. I'm using Google Authenticator, but I think Swimming will know about this as well, because you also made a program to generate timed one-time passwords, right?
Yeah, correct.
We show that on one of the, I think, was it a Go meetup?
Yeah.
I forgot which meetup was that. I
Go
guess
meetup. Yeah. Swimming presented that.
Yeah. And I wrote one in Ruby, and because I know generally how, like from that project, I know how they're generated. I also know how to save the keys so that whenever I need to transfer over like to a different phone, then I can recreate all of this exactly the same uh, authentication mechanism on a different phone. So,
Yeah.
because what happens right now is like you present a barcode and then you scan it with your phone, and then it's gone, right? And then you can't even retrieve your secret key anymore. But actually, that barcode contains the secret key that if you save it like somewhere secure, like maybe you print out the secret keys, then you can regenerate the same codes, because that's the one-time passwords will be regenerated based on that secret key. So that's how I allow myself to change devices or maybe use multiple authenticators without having to like cancel one and then use the another. So I have one, for example, on my tablet and one on my phone as a backup.
So, what other best practices should we advise? I actually have a UP key, but it's actually to try not to lose it.
How does it look like? That's a YubiKey.
It look like this.
It's a USB.
I have this.
Most important part of the YubiKey.
Yep. So I will lose it. And it's always on for my computer. So if I take it off, it's actually I use it for my Windows login as well. So and everything on my desktop requires the YubiKey. If it's unplugged, you are locked up from the system. I know you cannot log into a lot of stuff. But it's the problem with YubiKey is I think it's a closed system. I'm not sure if it's about the new one, but apparently YubiKey is they rely on certain security via obscurity as well. It's not exactly an open standard, or I'm not sure about the status of that, but definitely it's not open. So
they have a similar thing in the e-Estonia thing. Do you remember e-Estonia?
Yeah.
So they give you like a card, right? Actually, every citizen of Estonia has that card. If you're in e-Estonia, you're also given that card. So it's a chip device with a card, and if you put it in a smart card reader, you can use it to log in with two kinds of pins. Like one would be a normal access pin, and another will be a signing pin for digital certificates. So that could be another one. I think there's a way to. There was some talk of using this card as some sort of YubiKey. So whenever you're in order to, for example, to log into Windows, you need to have that card inserted. Because when I was getting my card in Singapore in the embassy, because
You got the card?
I've been since 2 years ago.
You're Estonian?
No, I'm not.
No.
It doesn't give you citizenship. But I never renewed it. I never renewed it because it's not really that useful. Not yet. Maybe in a few years I'll apply again. But so when I got that card, the person who was giving out the cards and orienting us, he has a ThinkPad and it's just inside inserted. And I guess like with a fingerprint and all of these things. So it's possibly multi-factor authentication. You need to have a card, you need to have a biometric fingerprint, and you need to know the password to the computer in order to sign in. For it's an embassy thing, so they take security very, very, very seriously there. So what would a YubiKey be considered? That's
It's actually it's a multi-factor authentication. You can use it for the own key because it's one-time password. But yeah, it's
so because a multi-factor is about like what you have, or what you are, or what you know, right? Is there any other type of multi-factor?
I think that's about it because identity and security is around there. So you have your username, that then you have your password, PIN.
So that's what you know.
Yeah, correct. Then the one-time password is
a one-time password is what you have. One-time password is what you have because it's like usually on a separate device or something.
Correct.
That generates it for you. And what you are is like your fingerprint, biometric, like iris scan, fingerprint.
Correct. I think because the identity is actually a triangle.
I think I think Sylvia would like to reinforce about like biometric is actually your identity. It's not your password.
Yes.
So
because your iris, your fingerprint cannot be changed easily.
Yeah.
Fingerprint is a bit worse in a way that in the industrial accident you can actually lost it, but you cannot make a new one. So yeah, good luck changing your iris or fingerprint or your DNA, right? So yeah. What else? Security. What other thing you do? Oh yeah. You know that Google actually had an initiative called Titan, Project Titan. It's essentially a YubiKey and a Bluetooth device that serve to insert the key to the application.
I think it's a YubiKey, right?
It's a YubiKey, but the token is so separately to another guys. You can buy it from a third-party vendor that's not YubiKey. But I think this might change because the original reason why they do that is because iPhone do not allow YubiKey to create a physical device. Whereas Android, as you got USB-C, you can use it whenever you want. But it's less than 2 days back, YubiKey officially make a token for the iPhone. So that might change really interestingly. So yeah, you have to so they have that nowadays. So just on top, just an extra note about YubiKey and stuff. So anything else about security?
I have, so because we're developers, right? So I will have to ask you, what's the difference between identification, authorization, and authentication?
Identification is who the hell are you. Authorization is what you can do. Authentication is confirming who you are.
And because the problem is sometimes as developers, we exchange like the concepts with each other, like, right? So that, for example, like OAuth is an authorization. No,
Yes.
it's an is it an authentication or authorization?
It's authorization. You're allowing third party service to do things on your behalf.
Yeah. That is authentication. Authentication is where they could get into the service.
No, I thought authentication is whether
authorization is what can you do? Like, can you read the email?
Yeah.
Can you compose an email on behalf of this person?
Correct.
That is authorization.
So that's OAuth, right? The part of the OAuth where
but
that's
you also get keys.
That's a claim part of OAuth, but OAuth itself is a login. So so the claim is the one that tells you that what can you do.
Yeah, so those claims are the authorization part. But there's also like the authentication where it says you are who you say you are.
Yeah.
Right. Like basically, so the question, like I like what Sumin was saying, the question for identification is who are you, which is usually by username, and sometimes username is enough. Like when you're doing your Bandy Clock, if you remember Bandy Clock, you're just like you have your card, and that's it, or you have your ID. It can be anyone who logs you in. It's because that's you are who you're you're identified by that thing. And then you have authentication where you prove to the challenger that you are who you say you are. And that's where all of these authentication mechanisms come in, multi-factor authentication.
Yeah.
And then there's your now that you prove to me who you are who you say you are, what can you do? And then that's the authorization. And sometimes this gets like mixed up when you're building some sort of login infrastructure or user management infrastructure.
Yeah, because it's actually pretty implicit. For example, if you log into a Linux system, you identify yourself using a password or your SSH key.
Well, you identify yourself through your username.
Yeah, then you authenticate using your SSH key or password. But once you're inside, you are not allowed to do everything. That's the authorization. It's about permission is your authorization mechanism. Your password and all that, that's your authentication. Then your user profile, that's your
those are access and stuff are authorizations.
Yeah, correct. That's permission and access are authorization. Authentication is the password and whatnot.
Who are you? Are you the person that you claim you are?
Correct. Then your user profile. Your user profile, that's your username, user profile. That's your identification.
And
profile feature.
And by understanding this, you can like eventually design your system, because now you have one identity. Like your user will have identity. Like it's simpler if you say one user is one identity, although it can be like multiple identities, right? But it's one identity, and then you can have multiple authentication mechanisms for this identity. And then now you understand. Okay, you don't, because I've seen many software that assume that it's one identity and one authentication only, and then they say, oh, let's do Google login, and now it's a huge undertaking, right? And with that as well, you can have multiple authorization roles per authentication mechanism.
Correct. So the practical example for that is you mail using like single sign-on, Facebook single sign-on, GitHub single sign-on, and your password at the same time. And even though you log in using your Google, you are still you, right? And that's the practical way of think of it. A lot of application fail this, a lot of framework fail this. On Django, you have to use a plugin to get this right.
And it's
you have to use.
Yeah, I was asking that question because it seems to be a common pitfall when designing the initial system, where you assume that one identification, one authentication, one authorization. Like basically, authorization is you can do everything. So it's like that's the only access role.
No, you can do certain thing.
No, in the when
this case,
it's misdesigned, like everyone just have
yeah.
everything have access to everything, and then it's like an afterthought to put in those restrictions. Whereas if you approach the subject where you already know that these three things are different, then you have
Yeah.
it's already supported, and then when your stakeholder asks you to, oh, let's do Facebook login, it's a lot easier.
Mhm. Correct. And think about your sort of the popular application. Uh, our developer tend to use Jira. You know how many permission there is on it, right?
It's a lot, yeah.
System. So there's roles, and within roles is permission, and within the permissions, it's like system user can change everything. Then
Hmm.
each team have their own certain roles, and each role within a team can do certain things, right? And Jira is one of those complex authorization system. It's about permission, who can do what, and it's a nightmare. And nobody gets it right. Nobody gets Jira configuration right.
Yeah.
Just to show you how bad it is.
It's complicated.
Uh, yes, which is why believe why software developer tend to lean toward anarchy, but that's just me.
Well, while we were talking just now, I actually found some younger pictures of swimming and posted them on Facebook.
Gee,
During the days of a hacker space.
yes, I used to believe that the world is nice, everybody is good, you don't actually need permission to do anything. Who need passwords? Just give them root. You won't destroy your servers, then things happen.
I don't mind. Do you mind giving me root access?
Never over my dead body. By the time I give you root access, the sun rise from the west and there'll be snow in Malaysia.
They're gonna be in the next few years.
Yeah. Consider that now I begin to call the Great Fire
Yeah.
in the Amazon. The fire in the Amazon, I shall call it the Great Fire.
Is there anything
forest
we want to
fire.
add in? We still have a little bit of extra time.
Okay, if you really care about security, apparently iPhone did a better job than Android, so don't use Android.
Yeah. In terms of how they handle our data as well.
Correct.
In a way.
Uh,
Yep.
yes. And I hate to say this. If you are a normal user and MacBook is pretty good, but let's say Windows is good nowadays. People tend to thought Windows by default get all sort of virus. Not true anymore. A Windows 10 setup is pretty secure nowadays, and the default password are not a joke. It used to be the Windows Defender is a joke, not anymore. Nowadays, as long you know what, generally most operating system already have pretty secure. Just be careful about what you're doing. A lot of it is about being careful what you're doing, because all operating system producers are taking security very seriously now. Uh, when there is an attack, it actually means that you do not update your computer. I think it usually leads that it's not often you get a zero-day attack on you. Uh, Fun story, I used to be an NGO. People always thought that the government going to hack their computer. The short answer is you do not, often you are not that
There
important that
And
you want to do.
also, I think it's a misconception from a lot of people is that hackers don't go around unless it's targeted. Hackers normally
Yeah.
don't go around hack people. They just have you're just so lucky that you have certain vulnerabilities and they ran a
Yes.
certain scanner on it and you're on their radar.
Yeah. And often when or whatnot, right? Use a computer, so they don't want to steal your password for other reasons. You don't have that much money. I'm so sorry. Which is why security leak nowadays is about leaking your credit card information, uh, and account access. Uh, so the reason is those are more lucrative than say one credit card, which how much money can you buy things, right? So that's the underground market is very interesting. Disclaimer: I know somebody that actually understand the underground marketplace. But put it this way, you are not so special that hacker want to hack you. when you hack it, it's
Just
part
be
of a
careful.
scheme. Yeah, careful.
Most of the
update
time,
the computer.
most of the time you get hacked because there was a database that was being sold around
Yep.
the groups, and
Yeah,
they just like do so. So what they will do is like if you have your username and password, they'll just loop through everything, and the ones that actually can get in, they save it to a different like list, and then they would go
yes,
through it one by one again. So the initial pass would be like, oh, if you already have like very difficult passwords, like you can't easily type them, usually they won't even continue on. So it will be discouraged. Or another way would be you share the same name as Chi Leong, and then Chi Leong gets annoyed
yes,
Yeah. Annoyed.
and
correct.
tries to
Give me back
take
my email
over,
address. Give me back.
Yes,
takes over your email
and
address.
also when your identification card got leaked, I'm so sorry. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Actually, that's is one issue, one very bad design in the identification number. Uh,
Mhm.
no, identification number can be awesome, except the way people treat IC number is bad. It's very bad. There's no care for it. As a result, the damage is already done. Unless you move to another country, you're screwed. I'm so sorry.
So
Uh,
does that mean that they're using identification of the number as the sole security mechanism?
Put it this
So
way, it's a trust system that you got your IC, you can use your IC to apply for loans.
mhm.
And it's hard to verify your identity. It's actually very hard to verify your signature. The good thing is Malaysia identification number requires an IC reader nowadays, right? It use
Mhm.
of biometrics, which is that's the two-factor thing. Your number and your and your other identifier, your fingerprint, which is not really good, but it is one thing lah. So I think the now one issue is the IC got leaked and people use it for various things.
Mm.
So I think we are screwed in a way that there's no care taken by the provider, and even us as a software developer when we accept identification number.
Do we
Mm.
have
Sorry,
any
that's a
but
run on my side.
so do we have anything to add on the chat? Like folks?
So what's on the chat?
Nothing.
I didn't turn on the chat yet.
Actually, like limited ports, so in a way, it's help out in terms of security.
Yeah, no, actually true. I got a Raspberry Pi, and I can actually write a script to actually uh, input command very fast to take over machine.
Yeah.
That's because it's interesting. Or I can fry your USB. I know how to do
Yeah,
that.
there's the ones you know the AT Tiny that I
Yeah.
bought from the Citron sale that can be reprogrammed
Yes.
into a bad USB. So I already have
You
one
should.
working where it does the so I'm because I'm doing the clicker project, right? So it
Yeah.
communicates and then it does page up, page down. Technically, you can change it so that it types in console commands.
Yeah. The thing you want to look at for that is called uh, USB rubber ducky and poison tab on the Raspberry Pi Zero. So this is the two things that actually teach you how to build a toolkit to hack through
Oh,
USB.
it's regarding YubiKey. Yeah. Unfortunately, YubiKey is if you try to do it like last time, where you stuck a really short YubiKey on your computer all the time, it's a bit in a way that USB port became a luxury nowadays.
Yeah,
So yep, unfortunately, but fortunately there are other standards like over Bluetooth if you don't mind or NFC or I think there's a lot of a wacky one going around. But um, something that I'm really curious is that are there other serious alternative beside YubiKey for similar solution
oh, somebody
without
attacked.
having to program it yourself?
Oh, no, no, no. Somebody actually built an open source pre-programmed version of the YubiKey. It's on Kickstarter not that long ago.
Okay. And
I share it on I share it on the DevKami chat room.
Nope, I didn't see it.
Yeah, no. I will share it soon, but I forgot where it is. Security key. That's the word. Hack a day security key. Where is the search? I will share it later.
So for those who haven't bought their Azure Sphere thingy, you should buy them. It's very, very cheap, 3 ringgit just for shipping. And apparently there is a contest. So the prize, there will be 3 grand prizes: a Microsoft HoloLens 2. There will be 10 runner-up prizes. Microsoft products worth approximately 1,500 USD.
I would like my HoloLens.
50 Tier 3 prizes, which is $200 Visa or MasterCard gift cards. So it's a cheap microcontroller with a contest, and just try it out. Maybe people will be like swimming in Chiliong, where they just get the kit and don't join.
I'm gonna join.
Maybe that's going to be good chances for you.
Yeah, I want my HoloLens. That's mine. I'm gonna. If you want it, I'm gonna try to reset your password. Be warned, folks.
Actually, I haven't seen the actual So there's a contest, I know, but I don't know what we're supposed to be doing in the contest.
I have no idea. I just got it because it's cheap.
Yes. So
Justin is trying to suggest a topic. Sure.
Yeah.
It's still up to our discretion. Or you want to come on in and join the topic. Right, bring it on. Don't tease us.
What's the topic?
Yeah, don't ask to us.
Tell us what we will do.
Yeah. Come on, you have 1 minute.
Can you review developer profiles or GitHubs?
I do not know them.
So we open up a random
of good and bad developers. Oh, okay.
Where will we get the list? Where are we getting the list of good developers and bad developers?
And also, are we going to vet our friend for being a bad coder? No, I'm loyal.
I'm gonna review Swimming's GitHub profile. And Swimming, we're gonna review our own profile.
Yeah, let's do that.
And see how inactive we are. Doing it the smart way. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think that I prefer to encourage people instead of telling them.
We can get a list of good profiles and tell them why we think they're good.
All right. Constructive suggestion. Okay. You can give us a list that need to be volunteered. I mean, probably gonna censor some of the details. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
funny.
So I posted the link on the work Slack, and then people have been buying. I bought, and then someone says, I don't know what it is, but I just ordered since it's only 3 ringgit.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. It's cheap, get it.
Just get it.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna review our own. Yeah. I think we're gonna review our own GitHub profile. I'm gonna show you. No! I'm gonna show you how good I'm a developer, and also how bad Swimming is.
Yeah.
I don't remember when was my last commit.
Oh, you don't use GitHub so much anymore?
Yeah.
What? How dare you?
Right. I think we have to wrap
Oh,
up.
so there is this.
Oh, you want to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Understand? Yeah, but
It's called
you have to
solo.
be. Yeah, you're gonna be up here then.
The
Yeah,
open
I'm
source
gonna
security
share.
token is called solo.
Right. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
solo. Yep. Or an auditable. I think security stuff should be. It's not necessarily has to be open, but it should be auditable.
Yeah.
So at least
Actually, that's
the
point.
part where is I think it's supposed to be accountable. Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Right. Justin is gonna volunteer his, and we're gonna have him up here while we review his GitHub profile. I don't think we are a role model for the GitHub profile as well.
No, yeah.
I can't say
Okay.
I qualify as one.
So with that said,
Right.
I
I think we can wrap up. Yeah.
Goodbye.
And to wrap up, yeah. And remember to click likes and subscribe. It's very important. I'm gonna like my own video.
Yes. Yes. And I'm going to subscribe to DevKami just because.
Yeah.
Just click on like on the thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm gonna subscribe.
And click the bell just in case.
To remind yourself to get up on time.
Yes.
All right. Bye,
Yes.
folks.
Bye.
Bye.